that almost led to a chaotic situation yesterday. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
A combined team of officers of the Nigerian Army and their counterparts from the Nigerian Police Force have taken over the entire Eagle Square. Recall that there were skirmishes here yesterday when some protesters came to register their displeasure regarding the state of the nation. As you can see all around, the Eagle Square in Abuja has been dominated by officers of the Nigerian Army and their counterparts from the Nigerian Police Force.
Officers with armored personnel carriers and other vehicles armed to the teeth were positioned strategically within and around the Eagle Square to forestall breakdown of law and order in the axis. Also, entrance to the National Assembly, appeal courts, foreign affairs, and other ministries were equally manned by Eagle High security operatives, while about 10 patrol teams were moving around the axis. Unlike yesterday, none of the agitators dare move closer to the arena as a result of structure put in place by the combined team of security agencies. All gates leading to the Eagle Square have been blocked with security vehicles, while Eagle Eye officers are on standby to confront any opposition. Also, commercial activities around the Federal Secretariat in Abuja have been paralyzed while streets have been deserted. Called that the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, had at a press conference announced that all stations have been put on red alerts following the outcome of the protest on Thursday.
We wish to advise law-abiding citizens of Nigeria to heed and not dismiss warnings given by the police and other security agencies which were based on credible and actionable security intelligence. In the light of the current situation, the Nigerian Police Force has placed all units on red alert. Our officers are fully mobilized and prepared to respond swiftly and decisively to any further threats to public safety and order. We remain committed and resolute to protecting lives and property and ensuring that law and order are maintained across the nation. Groups who are hiding under the guise of exercise of a right provided in the Constitution to destabilize the country should also remember that the same Constitution imposed on them the duty to obey the laws of the land and respect the rights of other citizens.
This action followed the public disorder and unrest that trailed the protest on Thursday across the country.
From the Eagle Square in Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
And still on that, the ongoing nationwide protest entered day 2 today, with protesters still struggling to make an impact on the demands for good governance. In Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, while the central area is calm and scanty activities are seen, the airport road is agog with protesters trying to gain entry into the city center. According to correspondent in Abuja, Ken Abuji, who was on ground covering the movement, the airport road near the American Embassy was agog a few minutes when the protesters in the numbers tried to maneuver their way into the city center, but were pushed back by men and officers of the police who were shooting sporadically, dispersing them and chasing back into the National Stadium. The officers were seen firing canisters of tear gas towards the protesters, while the protesters ran and scampered for safety. The deviant protesters, who were still struggling with the effect of tear gas fired at them, were retreating to the stadium to re-strategize for way forward and means to gain entry into the Central District area of the Capital Territory. Protests had broken out in the country over the inability to cushion hardship in the country occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy by the Tinubu-led administration. Now we have joining us tonight Dr. Oluwole Jacob Adeyemi, the acting head of Department of Economics, Chrisland University from Abeokuta, Ogun State. He joins us live from Abeokuta to speak on the economic impact of Nigerian losses following the hunger protest. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We recently witnessed an upsurge in the protest that is going on starting yesterday about the Nigerian populace expression of disregard for what the term bad governance.
Okay, all right.
They
Now,
express
speaking about the
their
protesters, some of them have deviated from the original hardship protest by looting goods belonging to individual, state and federal government during the day. One of the end hunger or hardship protests. So what would you say would be the economic impact of this?
Well, we have a lot of economic impacts about this ongoing strike, depending on the intensity, the location, and the time frame and the city it involves. We have both the property damage, which is under the direct economic cost. We also have indirect costs, we have social costs, we have opportunity costs of what is going on presently. Under these property damages, we have a lot of things that have been damages, which will require government to put them back to place, which will also affect the growth and development of Nigeria. Then there are business disruption. Many people are unable to go to their businesses, which will affect sales, and which at the end of the day will also affect our gross domestic product. Then public services and a lot of other things have been affected. And under that, we also have the economic recessions, which is ongoing all over and globally. Then this also will also affect the financial marketing and also the tourism and hospitality sector of the economy, which in fact, invariably will affect the growth and the development of the economy on the long run. Aside from that, we see that this ongoing strike have led to low productivity, because many people that ought to have been in their place of work to produce or to do work, they are unable to do that. Then we have disrupt of supply chains. Many people that want to bring their wares and goods from farm to the locality or from one point to the other were disrupted, and they were unable to bring those goods to, which will also lead to this untold hardship that we are also crying about. If goods were produced in the farms and were unable to get to the market, then what are we talking about? This hunger continues. Rather than embarking on nonsensical strike, as it were, although it is their legal right, but it should be sensible rather than looting and disrupting business activity. What's it called? This, if it is to be a peaceful protest, as obtainable in some sinner climes globally, it could have been a better. Some other people that would not want to join the protest will go about their normal business, and that will also encourage growth and productivity. Infrastructural damages, a lot of these things that were damaged. I saw from Kano that even drainages and roads were being damaged. It is this taxpayers' money that is still going to be used to put them back. Then security costs, the cost of all those security men that were brought to, and arms and ammunition and all those things that we wasted, will still need to be replaced, and that will also affect the growth of the economy. And we have loss of revenue in many ways. Weekly or daily, it is estimated that about 1.5 trillion naira to 2.5 trillion naira will be wasted on daily basis. And while on weekly basis, it's estimated that it will run to close to 10 trillion naira to 17 trillion naira. So what a huge loss will it be to our gross domestic product and the gross, the growth rate of the economy on the long run. And when we want to estimate the long run, or perhaps a monthly damage or monthly loss financially, compared to past records that we have had when it happened in the time past. So we should be talking about 42 trillion naira to between 42 to 50 trillion naira loss to the economy, which will seriously affect the economy of Nigeria on the long run. So it's better at this point that maybe government should listen to people, and people also should come to their senses rather than damaging what government has put to place. And at the end of the day, it will be the taxpayers' money that will be used to rectify those things.
So your estimate, it sounds like a whole lot of money for Nigeria to use. So do you think protesting to make government aware of economic problems present in Nigeria, while disregarding these repercussions, which looting and vandalism will bring, would you say the protest, after all, is still worth it?
Well, at this point and with the direction at which the protection is going, it doesn't worth it any longer. It has deviated from its original plan, and that is the fear from all corners when this protest of routine started, when the campaign for it started. Anything in Nigeria will always go the other way around. is a mystery. So it doesn't want it any longer.
Okay, all right. And finally, before I let you go, since the main objective of the protest is ending hunger as soon as possible, what advice would you give government to achieve this?
Well, I would want to advise government at this point in time to listen to the voice of the people. Indeed, Nigerians are not happy and there is hunger in the land. People are hungry. So whatever the government can do within its capacity to reduce hunger will be much desirable. If it's possible, although it may not be, that the subsidy is reversed. But there are other things that government can do on a short run, maybe to reduce this subsidy for a while. And then to open the borders to allow food comes in on the control way, and then maybe open most of these our silos and all those things where food are being kept, so that people will have access to food. It's a general saying that an hungry man is an angry man. People are hungry and they are angry on a daily basis. Even most of us that are workers and the salary earner, the salary cannot take anybody home. It cannot even take you to the bus stop. So the government should listen to the plight of the people, come up with some other palliative things that can help, to alleviate the suffering of the people. Most of the palliative, whatever that the government said they were doing, most of it were even hoarded by the political elite.
Okay, all right. Class. Thank you so much for your time. But sadly, I have to cut you short because we do not have that much time on our side. Many thanks for being with us on the news.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And that's Dr. Oluwole Jacob Adeyemi, acting head of Department of Economics, Chrisland University. He joined us live from Abeokuta. And now to other protests out here in Lagos. The protesters have united again at the Gani Fawemi Park or Jota for the second day of the protest to demonstrate against bad governance in Nigeria. The protesters, who claim to be concerned Nigerians, said that the position on the protest had not changed. Galaxy's Nenwaran Gilmazaka tells us more in this report.
For the second consecutive day, protesters gathered at Gani Fawemi Freedom Park in the Ojota area of Lagos State to press home their demands. They have continued to raise their voice against the high cost of living, hunger, high level of unemployment and limited access to quality education, while demanding urgent action from the government to address these pressing issues.
I just want to say that young Nigerians have gathered here peacefully again. They gathered here yesterday peacefully, did not hurt anybody. Even the Nigerian police commended them. Even the governor himself commended them. And they came here very early today, peacefully, coordinating themselves cordially. They're not stating their demands, their rights to enjoy this country. Like the people at the top are enjoying the country. It's just a simple demand. Make this country work for us.
Lagos is becoming a lawless state. Why should the government allow this to happen? We are here to exercise our constitutional rights. Protest is a fundamental human right, backed up by the Constitution.
The government should speak to the Nigerian people. And this time, I don't mean proxy speaking. I mean the president should come out frontally and say to the Nigerian people, I've heard you, I'm feeling your pains. So I just want you to also, there are lists and things that have been proposed by protesters, by persons participating in this protest, and by Nigerians generally. We are not unreasonable. If the government comes to the table, there can be compromise on both sides.
While the area was heavily patrolled by security forces to ensure law and order during the protest, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fayo Adegoke, visited the scene of the protest, assuring protesters of their safety.
I mean, in compliance with the court order. The court order says Gani Fawemi Park and the base park are the parks the protesters should use to do their rallies and express their protests and other things they want to express. And they have been here, but they expressed the view that they don't want to go into the protest, park, because of some reasons they adduce. And since we are within and around the park centers, I've asked them to remain on the service lane and do their protest, and they have been doing it peacefully, without blocking the road, without causing any hindrance to anybody.
As the hashtag End Bad Governance gets to its second day, Nigerians are appealing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes out and address Nigerians on the socio-economic crisis we are currently having. As you can see, the protest has been peaceful and the area has been heavily guarded by security personnel. Nenwarangil Mazaka, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
You're still on to the news in Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates on the latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. Not fewer than 4 persons were feared killed in Kaduna during the End Bad Governance protest, which was held across the country on Thursday. Family of one of the persons that was shot dead by security operatives, Hussaini Turaki, in front of the Government House Kaduna, are pleading for help, as they say he was the breadwinner of the family. It will be recalled that the rally began peacefully but took a violent turn, leading to violent confrontations between the police and the protesters.
We now called, they said they should call commissioner before they would give us the coffee. They now started, they now called him. Now, after he came, we now said, let him see the body. We now tell him what happened. They now narrate everything that happened. He was shot at the back of his head. He said, okay, talk. Then they now signed, they said they should give us the coffee, now bring him home. And the problem that we are facing now, he has 8 children, 3 wives, 11 children. The issue now, actually nobody can take care of them.
Feeling fine, because he's the one in our family remain. All of his sister, they are died. Now we don't have anybody in our own family. Please, we are begging government to help us, because our father have little children. Because if he's not alive, they cannot go to school. And this condition we are, poverty. To get food to eat 3 times now is not easy. If you have 1 time or 2 times, thank God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please, let them help us.
Here at the residence of Hussaini Turaki, who was shot dead yesterday during one of the nationwide hunger and poverty protests. Galaxy TV, Busanya Kusak, Kaduna.
Now to other stories. The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, LPPC, has elevated 87 lawyers in the country to the prestigious rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN. The rank of a Senior Advocate of Nigeria is awarded as a mark of excellence to members of the legal profession who have distinguished themselves as advocates and academics. The 87 lawyers were conferred with the rank at the 164 plenary session of the committee under the chairmanship of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. A statement by the Secretary of the LPPC, Ajia Aju Seriki Bello in Abuja, indicated that 87 lawyers were picked for the award, and from the 98 lawyers shortlisted last month, The statement also revealed that 11 applicants were dropped from the race for undisclosed reasons. Similarly, the meeting was said to have considered 5 different petitions written against some of the applicants and were dismissed for lacking in merit. Now, we move to the international desk for more news. This is news from the international scene. U.S. President Joe Biden has said that the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh doesn't help talks over a potential ceasefire in Gaza. Haniyeh was killed during a visit to Iran's capital, Tehran, on Wednesday. Iran and its allies have blamed Israel, although Israel is yet to comment on his death. Haniyeh was Hamas' most senior official and was highly involved in ceasefire and hostage release talks from his base in Qatar. Biden said he was very concerned about rising tension in the Middle East. We have the basis for a ceasefire. He, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, should move on it, and they, Hamas, should move on it now. Israel and Hamas recently resumed tentative indirect talks to try to reach a ceasefire in the war in Gaza, though there have been conflicting accounts of progress. At the end of May, Biden outlined what he said were the terms of an Israeli ceasefire proposal. This has become the basis for an on-off indirect negotiation between Hamas and Israel since then, with Qatar, Egypt and US acting as mediators. And that's it for now, but do join us at 9 p.m. for our primetime news. My name is Iribami Salako. See you then.